Before we start, please like this video and follow our channel to help spread the word about our work. After different Sonic titles have been released in a way that, let's say, have separated opinions and players over the last few years, we've reached yet another watershed, but with great potential to bring together fans of the world's most beloved blue hedgehog. Sonic Frontiers had the promise of breathing new life into the franchise, and even with some negative predictions and expectations about the game, it is possible to safely say, the game is amazing. This time, Sonic Team managed this title very well, showing that it is possible to merge platform with open world. Of course, there are some flaws in the game, as the classic camera that moves by itself is still there, almost a ghost that has been chasing the series since entering the universe of games in the third dimension, but nothing serious, even if it takes away from the general brilliance of this game. Sonic's new game, a title wrapped in such mixed hype. It is to be congratulated, in particular, the story produced here, which even has 2 prologues, one in cartoon, telling a little about the beginning of the game and delving deeper into the dark past of Knuckles the Echidna and his ancient tribe, which succumbed to the power of the Chaos Emeralds, and the second, which was made into a kind of virtual comic book, which can be read on the game's official website. The game takes place in cyberspace, a digital dimension similar to the real world where Sonic and his friends were sucked into and now find themselves trapped, without much hope or idea of how to get out of there. Our protagonist must save his comrades who are in an unstable state, as if they were corrupted by some superior factor. Luckily, it is possible to obtain mnemonic items, that is, memory fragments, which gradually free everyone from the digital prison. As it is an open world, there are freedoms and restrictions to be followed. For example, there are areas that can be released after collecting a specific amount of items. There is also the constant difficulty of platforms that will require skill to be overcome. But in the end, when everything is released, it is possible to fully explore all areas of the map, without problems. A dominant factor in maps is also their extension, which makes the player take some time to travel from one point to another. To facilitate this, it is possible to teleport between the numerous warp points spread across the 5 large areas of the Starfall Islands, within the digital world. It is necessary to dedicate a little time to familiarize yourself with the maps, so that you don't get lost with so much information. To help Sonic on his journey, the game has a revamped combat system, mixing defense, attack and dodge, as well as specials in the cyberloop, which was presented in the trailers as a cybernetic trail that leaves the ground when walking, extremely useful to defeat specific enemies and even to earn some rings. In addition to the old-school jump over the head, Sonic will have some standard moves, including punches and kicks and a skill tree, where we'll be able to evolve moves and gain new voracious abilities. Power combinations generate massive combos that deal a considerable amount of damage to opponents. This can cause some difficulty when having to remember so many buttons to press in sequence, but this is easily solved with the auto combo, skill also unlockable. The battles in the game are quite intense. Here, we will fight the Guardians, organic technological beings that defend these lands. They are colossal creatures, with countless powers and that give a lot of work to be defeated. Fights can go from minutes to half an hour easily. All this accompanied by massive and powerful metalcore and J-rock soundtracks, reminiscent of bands like Bring Me the Horizon and Our Last Night, combined with the sometimes insane difficulty of the fights, which require precision and a lot of patience to pay attention to enemy blows. And possible quick-time events. Finally, I must say, Sonic is extremely fast. It's amazing the speed you can reach. We can exchange rings for speed, which culminates in a small animation of the protagonist wrapped in lightning. It's hard to keep up with the hedgehog's speed with the gameplay itself. The game's negative points can be seen as very small, as they are unfortunately present in other titles in the series. We've always had problems running around with a complicated camera that rotates 360 and just gets in the way. However, Sonic Frontiers shines in chrome gold. It's good. I remember writing my first impressions about the game, reporting a possible failure, and that it would probably be just another rough game, which I would, nevertheless, of course, play, because I love the character, but it wouldn't bring anything surprising, like the old Sonic games. However, thank God, it was not like that and, in fact, I was very surprised. Despite the technical difficulties, Sonic Frontiers works so well and already has a special place in my heart. There are many hours of gameplay, a lot of content to be experienced and many sensations to be experienced. I'm listening to the soundtrack on loop, feeling like the protagonist of a cliched adventurous shonen manga, fighting off hordes with my colorful sneakers and immeasurable charisma. Sonic Frontiers has become a high-quality must-play. Positive and negative points. Positives: around 20 hours of gameplay. Nice amount of skills. Incredible soundtrack. High sense of speed. Negatives: the camera moves by itself, and sometimes focuses on enemy, which makes certain movements difficult. Unstable combat at times. The climbing move is quite flawed. Irregular platform design. Evaluation. Gameplay 9. Graphics 9. Fun 10. Sound 10. Final score 9.5. Review written by Aulican and published on the Revolution Arena website.